So we have a great recipe today and we are going to be cooking baby back ribs, and they are amazing. They're going to be soft, tender, and they're going to fall off the bone because we are going to cook them low and slow. Everything's going to be done in the oven and no grill is required. But by the end of this, we'll have some sticky, tacky, incredible ribs. So first up, we are going to make a dry rub, and for that we need sugar. Then we're going to add some salt, some garlic powder and some onion powder. So that's the basic dry rub. Once you got all of that in there, you can decide on the heat level. You can go really spicy or you can go mild, or however you want, whatever floats your boat. But this one is going to be quite warm and quite hot. So we have some smoked paprika, a good pinch of cayenne pepper. That's where most of the heat is coming from. Some Cajun seasoning. Then to that, we are gonna add a good pinch of cumin powder. So that is the dry rub done. We are gonna set that to one side. So let's get on with prepping our ribs. So we have a rack of baby back ribs here, and they are from the back of the animal. They are different to spare ribs. Spare ribs are not as delicate as baby back ribs and take longer to cook, about an hour and a half longer in the oven. So the preference here is baby back ribs. They're often also called loin ribs. Ribs have a membrane running along the back here, and as you cook them, they won't break down. And that gives the illusion that the ribs are quite tough, as it holds everything together. It just makes the meat a little bit chewy. So what we are gonna do now is take that membrane off. So let's just cut this in half, and that makes it easier to take that membrane off. So we just want to make a small incision here and try and get a grip on that membrane. And if you're struggling, you can use a bit of kitchen towel. It just makes it a lot easier to get a grip on that. So you just pull it right to the end. So now let's just get a bit of dry rub action going on. So let's just give this a good mix. And then what we're gonna do is just rub that all over the ribs and really try and get it into the bones, into all the nooks and crannies. Right, so that's done. We're just gonna pop them into a foil and just wrap them up. Nothing too fancy at all. Just make sure that you get a really nice and tight seal, and then we'll just pop them into an oven tray. So that's it. Now they'll be going into the oven at 140 degrees for 2.5 hours, and just make sure the oven is preheated. That is 285 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's just make that barbecue sauce ready now. The ribs have been in the oven for about 2 hours now, and by the time the ribs come out, the sauce is gonna be ready. So let's just jump right into it. We've got smoked paprika here, which we are going to lightly toast. So we'd only be looking to toast this for about 2 minutes. Then we'll add some brown sugar and some honey. So once they start to caramelize, we are gonna add about 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar and 2 tablespoons of sherry vinegar. And now we wanna add in a little squeeze of orange juice. And then we go in with a good amount of ketchup. So we just need to give it a good stir now, and then just let it simmer away for about 15 minutes. So whilst that's simmering away, it's worthwhile mentioning that although I say 15 minutes, but we generally want to keep an eye out on those visual clues as well. As you know, barbecue sauce is dark. So as soon as this starts going darker, that's one of the clues to indicate that it's ready. The other thing is obviously that consistency that you have with barbecue sauce. So it's worth keeping an eye out on those as well. So now it's the time to get to the ribs. So as you can see, they are really soft, tender, all the fat's rendered down and they are just falling off the bone just because they've been in the oven for 2.5 hours. So what we're doing now, we are gonna get that barbecue sauce brushed onto each side of these ribs. We'll get them back in the oven under the broiler on high heat for about 2 to 3 minutes just to get a really nice char on them. And we're doing it to both sides. So it's all charred on one side, the sauce has gone all sticky. I'm just gonna turn it around and give it another brush, back in there for another 3 minutes. They look lovely and charred on both sides and they look absolutely beautiful. And I can't wait to get right stuck in. I guess that's been it for this one. Before I go though, if you can like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already, share with your friends and do all those YouTube stuff. I will be seeing you in the next one. But until then, look after yourselves and remember the secret ingredient is love. Look how easily the meat pulls away and how clean the bone is.